we are learning about the dioxygen. Yesterday in the last lecture we see the physical property. We saw that, or we learned the physical properties of the dioxygen. That is, dioxygen is colorless, odorless gas. It liquefies, again freezes also. There are the three isotopes of dioxygen, and the molecular oxygen is in the paramagnetic form. Now again we learn about the chemical properties of dioxygen. Oxygen is very important gas in our daily life for inhalation, respiration, for sustenance of the life. Oxygen is very important. Why it is called as the dioxygen? Because two atoms of the oxygen form the O2 molecule, that is oxygen molecule. Now learn about the uses of dioxygen. Now the main first use is dioxygen is the important gas for respiration to sustain animal and aquatic life as well as plant life also. Plant also require oxygen for the preparation of food. Now the second use of oxygen is that it is used in the manufacture of steel also. Though steel is the alloy of the iron and carbon, but for the manufacture of steel, oxygen is very important gas. It requires for the manufacture of steel. The third use of oxygen is that the oxygen or oxyacetylene flame. We know that for cutting and welding purposes of the metals, the welders have a cylinder of oxyacetylene gas, and from that cylinder they have the wire, and from that there is the this oxyacetylene flame is formed, which is very hot flame, due to which what happened? The metal melts and can be joined by the welding, as well as the metal can be cut by this very powerful oxyacetylene flame, which is very bluish in color and have a very large amount of heat. Now the fourth use of oxygen is that oxygen cylinder are widely used in hospitals. Why? For the inhalation of the patient which are in ICU or which are in a very critical position of their health, they require the cylinder of oxygen in the hospitals. And again in the higher altitude, that means for flying purposes or for the trekking purposes, as the trekkers go very high on the mountains, so there is the less layer or less oxygen as we go from, that is the ground level to the mountain level. There is oxygen is very less into that, so they require the oxygen cylinder, that is the trekkers and flying into the, that is balloons, etc. And again for the mountaineering, that is the mountaineering means trekking. Now next use of oxygen is that it is used in the combustion of fuel, because oxygen helps in the combustion or burning. Without oxygen there is no combustion or burning. Even our food, for the consumption of our, for the digestion of our food, we require the oxygen, and due to that oxygen there is the absorption of the different nutrients in our blood also. So we also require oxygen for the digestion of food. Again for combustion of the fuels, for example, hydrogen in the liquid oxygen provides tremendous amount of energy or heat in the rocket. So the hydrogen which have the oxygen in the liquid form are used in the rockets for the tremendous energy. Now again there is the question, why the dioxygen is paramagnetic in spite of having even number of electrons in them? Now we know that the atomic number of oxygen is 8. So the electronic configuration of the atomic electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Now there are the even number of oxygen. So why the oxygen molecule is paramagnetic nature? But in 11th standard we already learned that in 11th standard for the formation of molecular orbital of oxygen. Now how is the electronic configuration, or which are the electronic configuration of molecular orbital? Which are the molecular orbital? Sigma, sigma star, pi, pi star. These are the molecular orbitals. So the total number of electrons into the oxygen molecule is 16 now, and that is filled in the sequence in this way. Now I write here that is the molecular electronic configuration of oxygen as, what is mean by Kk? Kk mean sigma 1s and sigma star 1s. So that is written as Kk. That is the first molecular orbital, bonding and antibonding. After that sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. Okay. Then pi 2px2. Why it is pi 2px2 and pi 2pz2 also there, but yes, sigma 2pz2 because z orbital, that is the 2pz orbital is on the internuclear axis, so there is formation of sigma bond in case of 2pz orbital. So sigma 2pz is there, and after that pi 2px, pi 2py. Now how many electrons in a molecular orbital? There are also 2 electrons. Now 4 electrons are here, then these 6, then these 8, 10, 12, 14, and the remaining 2 electrons goes into the pi star 2px and pi star 2py orbital with parallel spin. Why? Because these orbital pi star 2px and pi star 2py, these orbitals are having the equivalent energy. Remember that. That means they are the degenerate orbital. So the remaining 2 electrons enter into that orbital with parallel spin. We know the which principle is that? Pauli's exclusion principle. Before pairing, they go into the next empty orbitals having the degenerate energy with the parallel spin. Singly they go. Now see here, there are the 2 unpaired electrons now, which are in the pi star 2px and pi star 2py orbital. And so remember that there is always give reason in the examination why the oxygen molecule is paramagnetic in nature. Very important, because in 11th standard we already learned this. In 11th standard we also draw the molecular orbitals of this. So study in 11th standard stage books from this. There is the formation of molecular orbital. You can draw the formation of molecular orbital also in this question. If they ask you the Q region, why the oxygen molecule is paramagnetic in nature, in text question is there, that may be asked into the examination. Now see the next, that is the topic types of oxides now. Now what is oxides? A binary compound of oxygen and another element. Binary means only 2 elements are there in the oxide. Binary means the oxides of having the 2 elements. Out of that, one is oxygen and another is the any metal or non-metal. Now see, a binary compound of oxygen and another element is called as the oxide. Remember that. Now there are the 4 types of oxides. Now these types are done according to the oxide which form acid after dissolution into the water or reaction with the water, or they form the base, or they can form acid or base both, or they can do not form any acid or base. Such, that is the criteria is for the types of the oxides are there. Now the first oxide is the acidic oxides. Now the acidic oxides are defined as the oxides which when reacts or dissolve with water form the acid, or the oxides which when reacts with the base gives the salt, because we know that when acid and base react, there is formation of salt. Suppose the acidic oxide reacts with the base, there is formation of salt, then definitely that oxide is the acidic oxide. So the oxide which when reacts with water or dissolve in water form the acid, or the oxides which when reacts with the base and form the salt, such oxides are called as the acidic oxide. For example, carbon disulfide, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, carbon dioxide, then nitrogen pentoxide, and this chlorine oxide is there also. Now all these 5, remember that these 5 are the acidic oxide. Now if we have to prove if these oxides are acidic or not, then only reacts this oxide with that of the water. Now when SO2 gas, we know that SO2 gas, sulfur gas, when reacts with water, there is formula sulfurous acid, H2SO3, sulfurous acid is formed. And if this is acidic, sulfur trioxide, then they must give the salt after reaction with that of the base. And here we are seeing in this reaction that this sulfur trioxide when reacts with this base, now anyway which is the base, as there is formation of salt, sodium sulfate, there is the formation of salt. So definitely this is acidic in nature. If they ask you prove that sulfur trioxide is the acidic oxide, then you must give this reaction for sulfur trioxide and for sulfur dioxide. Sulfur trioxide also form the sulfuric acid, we know that. So you can give this reaction also, SO3 plus H2O gives H2SO4. Now this is also acid. So as with water this oxide form the acid, so it is the acidic oxide. Now the second oxide, the second type of oxide is the basic oxide. And same is the definition of basic oxide as that of the acidic oxide. Only the difference is that these basic oxides when reacts or dissolve with water, they form the base. But if they reacts with that of the acids, then they will form the salt. As they form the salt with acid, definitely they are basic in nature. So there are the 3 basic oxide: sodium oxide, calcium oxide and barium oxide. All are the metal oxides here. Now for example, this calcium oxide when reacts with water forms the that is the calcium hydroxide. Now when this calcium oxide reacts with water, it forms the calcium hydroxide. Now calcium hydroxide is the basic compound. Now see, balance the reaction only. There are the 2 oxygen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 calcium is there. So CaOH twice, that is the calcium hydroxide is formed. Again that is the basic compound. So calcium oxide is here basic oxide. Now this basic oxide when reacts with this acid, there is the formation of salt. Barium chloride is the salt and water is formed. As there is formation of salt and water, that is the neutralization reaction. So it reacts with that of acid. So definitely this is the basic oxide. So if they ask you the question, prove that barium oxide is the basic oxide, then you must give this reaction and which prove that this barium oxide is the basic oxide. Now there is the amphoteric oxide also. Now you know the amphibian. Amphibian means the animals which survive on the land and in water also. As the same type, these are the amphoteric oxide. Amphoteric means now only one amphoteric oxide. I give the example alumina, that is the Al2O3. Amphoteric means that they can be defined as the oxide which when reacts with base, they form the salt and water. Again the oxide, same oxide when reacts with the acid, there is also formation of salt and water. That means they form salt and water with acid as well as with the base. So when it forms the salt and water with that of acid, then it acts as the basic oxide. And if it forms the salt and water with that of the base, then it acts as the acidic oxide. Now see, here is the base. Sodium hydroxide is the base. And it reacts with that base and form that salt, sodium aluminate. Therefore, definitely this is the acidic oxide here. And this oxide alumina also reacts with that of the acid and there is formation of this salt. This is totally one compound, that is the salt is there, because here is the positive and negative charges are there. So that is also salt. And when this alumina reacts with the acid to form the such salts, then definitely it is the basic compound. Now this proves that the give region is always asked into the examination. Prove that alumina or aluminum oxide is the amphoteric oxide. Then you must give these two reactions. Only balance that, and that are the, here requires 9 water molecule. Now the 9 water molecules are balanced in this way. See here, there are the totally how many hydrogen and oxygen we can count. Here are the 9 water molecule. Now 6 hydrogen and 3 oxygen, that means 3 water. 9 plus 3, 12 water molecule. Now see here, 6 multiplied by 2, 12 water molecule. Aluminum is 2, here is the 2, so this is the aluminum is also balanced. 6 chlorines are balanced in this way. They are written here separately because these require only 3 chlorine atoms, and 3 chlorine atoms are free into that liquid. So this plus 3 charge is from this aluminum. Aluminum have the plus 3 charge, but totally see here, 3 multiplied by 2 plus 6. Plus 6 is balanced by this minus 6. You can also write this in this way also. Only that is the 6, that is Cl6 we can write in this way also. Because these are the balance. Now this is not required. And if you have to show that it is the salt, then you can write here the charges also. Now in this way, there are the formation of salt. A very simple reaction. Here also, see how we balance this reaction. Now there are totally how many oxygen and hydrogen you can count. Now these are the 3 water molecule. That means here 6 hydrogen, 6 and 6, 12 hydrogen. Again 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is 12 oxygen and 12 hydrogens are there. That means 12 oxygen and 12 hydrogen means here 6 OH, 6 multiplied by 2. Now 6 into 2, 12 oxygen, 6 into 2, 12 hydrogen. Again here 6 sodium atoms, so this is balanced by 2 multiplied by 3. Now in this way, an aluminum is 2, so here is the 2, so aluminum is also balanced. You must remember these two reactions, because there is always question in examination why aluminum oxide is the amphoteric oxide. And the last type is the neutral oxides. That means the oxide which do not react with acid to give salt or water, or which do not react with the base to give the salt or water. Such oxides are called as the neutral oxide. For example, carbon monoxide, nitrogen monoxide, not dioxide, remember that. Now carbon dioxide is the acidic oxide here, but the carbon monoxide is the neutral oxide. Again this nitrogen pentoxide is acidic, but this nitrogen oxide and nitric oxide, these two are the neutral oxides. Now let us see the next topic, that is the here also we have to learn about again about the preparation of ozone, or about the ozone we have to learn. Ozone is the main allotrope of the oxygen. Now learn about the ozone. Ozone is the main allotrope of the oxygen. Now where is this ozone is present? Now ozone is present about the 16 kilometer higher from the earth. There is the layer that is called as the ozone layer, but nowadays there is the depletion of the ozone layer is continuously there. What is mean by depletion? That means ozone layer becomes thinner and thinner, and due to that what happened there? Due to that the ultraviolet rays from the sun directly come on the earth, and due to that the temperature of the earth is continuously increases, and there are many diseases due to that heat and the very powerful irritating ultraviolet rays to our skin and animals and plants. That is the live world is very harmful effects on them due to the depletion of the ozone layer. The molecular formula of ozone is O3. Now how this ozone is formed? Now there is very simple method of formation of this ozone into the atmosphere. Now let us learn about the ozone, very important gas, and this ozone is the allotrope of the oxygen. The molecular formula of ozone is O3, and how the ozone is formed. Now in atmosphere what happened? In atmosphere there is the oxygen is there. Now this oxygen first it gives the atomic oxygen. By the decomposition of oxygen there is formation of first nascent atomic oxygen. And that nascent atomic oxygen in the presence of ultraviolet rays that gives the ozone. That is, there is the formation of ozone. Now in this way ozone is formed into the atmosphere. Now first this oxygen in the presence of ultraviolet ray decomposes and then it forms the ozone in this way. There is the reaction. Now this type of formation of ozone is natural. But how the ozone is prepared in the, that is, artificial manner. Now for that preparation of ozone into the laboratory, we require the ozone for the formation of ozone. We require such apparatus which is called as the ozonizer. It is called as the ozonizer. Into that there is formation of ozone. Then how there is formation of ozone? Now the silent electric discharge is used that discharge is passed in the dry and pure oxygen. Now suppose there are such type of apparatus will be there, such as the V-shaped tube apparatus is there. Into that, now there are the cork, very thick cork are there, and here oxygen gas is filled, and through that cork there is positive and negative wires or metal wires are there, and to that battery is joined there. Now here after joining the battery what happened? Here is the electric discharge is formed. Very high temperature is created as that of the ultraviolet rays, and this oxygen, that is the 3 molecules of oxygen are converted into the 2 molecules of ozone. But require this but remember the formation of ozone is only 10%. Out of that, suppose there is the 100 ml of oxygen we taken into this ozonizer. Then about that only 10% of oxygen is converted into ozone. Therefore, the product which is formed after the electric discharge is called as the ozonide oxygen. Because there is 90% oxygen is there and only 10% ozone is there. So so remember the word. That product have the word ozonide oxygen, because only 10% of ozone is formed. So very less amount of ozone we can form into the laboratory by using the electric discharge method and by using the pure and dry oxygen gas. Now what are the physical properties of ozone now? Let us see the physical properties of ozone. Now this ozone is the color of this ozone is pale bluish in color. Now we think that the oxygen may be blue in color, but we already see that the physical property of oxygen, it is the colorless gas. But if the oxygen is converted into the ozone gas, the color of that gas is the plain blue color. But if the ozone is transferred by higher pressure into the ozone liquid, then that ozone liquid have the dark blue color is there. The ozone liquid have which color? Dark blue color. And if again by applying the pressure and low temperature the liquid ozone is converted into the solid ozone, it have the dark purple color solid. Ozone is dark purple color solid. Again, what is about the physical property? Let us see. Ozone has the characteristic smell, irritating smell. If we stay some time in the presence of ozone gas, we have the headache and nausea. You know the nausea, vomiting, that is the sensation is called as the nausea. And ozone has the characteristic smell when inhaled in the more concentration, about 100 ppm part per million. It may cause the nausea and headache also. And it is the magnetic gas in there. Remember that. Though oxygen is paramagnetic, but ozone is diamagnetic. You must remember ozone is the diamagnetic gas. Now come to the chemical properties of the ozone. The first chemical property that as ozone have the oxygen, but tremendous amount of oxygen, so it have definitely the oxidizing property. Then ozone oxidizes which compounds? That is very important. So ozone oxidizes the two main compounds, that is the lead sulfide and potassium iodide. Now these two compounds get oxidized by the ozone. Now let us learn about the chemical properties of the ozone. Now this ozone have the oxidizing property. Now it oxidizes two main compounds. The first compound is the lead sulfide. Now this lead sulfide is directly converted into the lead sulfate, PbSO4, when it reacts with that of the ozone. Remember this reaction. Now it requires the 4 molecules of ozone, lead sulfide, and it converted into lead sulfate, and the oxygen gas is again here formation of oxygen gas. Now see how this lead sulfate is oxidized, because the formula of lead sulfide is only PbS, but after reaction with ozone it converted into PbSO4, that means addition of oxygen is there. So this ozone oxidizes this lead sulfide. Again this ozone oxidizes the potassium iodide into the iodine. Now how the reaction? It reacts with the water again and ozone, and there is formation of the KOH, potassium hydroxide. Again there is formation of the iodine gas, and there is the oxygen. That means this iodine gets removed. That means after oxidation of the potassium iodide, iodine gets removed, and therefore this ozone oxidizes the potassium. These are about the oxidizing properties of the ozone.